Well, I think it starts with having the dream. I mean, that's where all ideas are born, and I think it's so important to have that dream. But as we all realize, just having that dream is not enough, because if you just have the dream, and we've all met those types of people in our lives where they're hoping this will happen or that'll happen, and usually nothing ends up happening. And I was thinking the other day, you've got to have that definite, proven plan of action. And when you see all the people that succeed, they have followed through. They have taken that step. They've taken that action. But you know, even if you have a proven plan of action, but you don't have that dream to go with it, then you end up spinning your wheels. And we've met those people too, where they're very busy. They have a terrific schedule. They're going here, going there, but they're never ending up where they want to be because they don't know where that is. So you have to have that combination. You've got to have that dream that is coupled with a definite, proven plan of action. And you've got to have, I call it the ABCs of success. A is for attitude, B is for belief, and C is for commitment. And you've got to follow that plan all the way out. The will has to be stronger than the skill, all right? That's what I always like to say, because you have to, if you want it badly enough, and I run into so many people over time that want to do something, but then immediately they turn around and they come up with reasons why they can't do it, instead of just finding one reason why they can do it. Forget about how you're going to do it. Just nurture and work and nourish why you want to do it. And what does that mean to you? I mean, does it mean financial independence? Does it mean having more time with your family? Does it mean being in control of your life and doing what you want to do when you want to do it? Whatever that is, don't worry about how you're going to do it. Just make sure that deep down inside you have that truth within and that passion about, this is what I want to do. The first step that I find that's very helpful when people have that idea, put it right down on paper. Because I guarantee when it goes from the head to the paper, it will end up differently. So you put it on the paper and you start flushing out that idea. Then you start talking to people about it, you know, people in your close circle of friends. And you get feedback. And then you get into that prototype stage. But you've got to get that idea out of your head, because when you do that in the process, you're taking a form of action. And that's the key to this whole process, that you do something with what you have. Don't just sit there and think about it, but you actually have to do something. You can't just make a decision. You have to follow through with the form of action. Imagine for a moment sitting in your home, turning on the television and being able to call an 800 number and order an item. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Amazing idea. Simple idea? You bet. Of course, the home shopping industry, which was born 30 years ago, and I had the good fortune to be there at the very beginning of it, a very simple idea that is now become a launching pad for entrepreneurs all over the world, and is now over a $10 billion industry. Very simple concept. And I remember years and years ago when Bud Paxson, really the founder of the entire industry, and he said to me that, well, one day, Bob, you're going to look out beyond that camera and you're going to see row after row of operators taking orders. And I looked at him and I said, Bud, there's no way. Because we were in a very small room at that time. No way. But if you go into one of the home shopping channels nowadays, you'll go into the room the size of a football field, and you'll see row after row of operators taking orders. So when the inventor, when the creator that is watching right now, when you're thinking that my idea is too simple, no, not at all. Think more about how your idea is going to benefit those. what type of an idea or a product that you have that's going to make one's life easier. Does it have mass appeal? Are you able to make an emotional connection with your product? Are you able to make one's life easier? Is it easy to use and easy to understand? And run down that entire profile. Simplicity should not negate you following through with your idea. I think nowadays, I think this is the best time to come up with an idea because there are so many ways to get it out there. There are so many different avenues of revenue. There are so many different distribution channels out there now. So if you have an idea, believe me, there are people out there that are waiting for what you have. See, people need what you have right now. They don't need it 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They need it now. That's why you can't wait. You've got to take action on what you have. Let me ask you, if somebody told you that you could keep all the gold that you could collect in one day at Fort Knox, how long that day would you take for lunch? Probably not very long, right? Probably not, because you want to grab it. And what I'm saying is that the gold's out there. It's ready to go. You have that idea, you have that widget, you have that invention. There are so many ways to do it. Now you're probably at home saying, okay, sounds great, but I don't know this person. I don't know that person. There are so many people out there that will help you, all right? Well, one of the best ways to raise money for your project, you have to sell your product. You have to sell your idea. And if you can't sell it yourself, find somebody who can, because you've got to create a need for what you have. There are so many people out there that can help you. So you're not supposed to know all the answers, because none of us do. But you can tap into so many different resources out there now that can lead you along the right way. This is the best time. It's always buyer beware, okay? If you're going into a store and buying a product, you want to check out the product. If you're going in, you're talking to somebody as a resource that they can help you do this and do that you don't know, you need to check them out. And there are so many ways, as I said a moment ago, this is the best time to become an inventor. It's the best time to get an idea or a product out there. There are so many people, and it's so easy nowadays to check on the validity and the credibility of companies out there. And you need to do that. I would also caution, don't let your emotions rule what you're doing. Because if you're sitting with somebody and they say, you know, that's the best I've ever seen. I want 10,000 of them. Hold on, you're going to get excited. There's no question about it. But hold back a little bit and check it out. Because if it's good today, it's going to be good tomorrow. The home shopping industry really has become the entrepreneur's launching pad. But now, today, it has become such a powerful avenue of distribution. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, the shopping channels were not, looked upon all that strongly, back in the late 1980s. In fact, I remember one time when I was a host at one of the shopping channels, I was in the green room ready to go out and do a show with a very famous actress. And she looked at me before the show and said, as seriously as could be, I hope nobody sees me doing this. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean? She said, if any of my friends see me doing this, it's going to ruin my career. And so that was really motivating for me. We went out, we did the show, and after she saw the true power of it, then I couldn't get rid of her after that. She wanted to keep on doing shows. But now the industry has progressed and has evolved to such a point that it's such a credible avenue of distribution, and corporations, to the entrepreneur, to people from all walks of life, have found a way to really get their product out there to the mass. But I still come back to the entrepreneur, okay? Let's leave the corporations for a moment. Let's talk about the individual who has the idea. Where do they go? How do they really get it out there? And the home shopping industry has become a great way for them to do that. So they should not shy away from that whatsoever, because there are many advantages taking that route over other areas of distribution. demonstrability. It needs to be demonstrable. Now, that doesn't just pertain to dirty floor, clean floor. You can demonstrate the benefits of your product in many, many different ways. It needs to be easy to use and easy to understand, because the way the shopping industry is set up, they don't have a lot of time to explain things. So your product needs to be easy to use and easy to understand. You need to make that emotional connection. The viewer at home needs to not just understand what the product is, but what's it going to do for them? How's it going to make their life easier? How's it going to fit into their everyday life, and how are they truly going to benefit from it? And one last thing is that the product, to succeed, needs to have mass appeal. All right? If your product doesn't have mass appeal, then it's a niche-oriented product, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to find the right niche. But if you're talking about the home shopping industry and a product succeeding that way, you need to really have one with mass appeal. Over the years, they've added it up, and I've been able to individually sell over $1 billion worth of merchandise on television. But the secret that you need to know about me is this, and that is, I hate to sell. I do. I despise selling. And people say, wait a minute, you've sold over $1 billion, how could that be? And I'll tell you what Bud Paxson told me many, many years ago. He said, Bob, you have to understand that selling has nothing to do with sales. And I didn't understand what he meant. And then he cleared it up for me by saying that when you're selling something, you're doing something to somebody. But he said when you're helping somebody, you're doing something for somebody. And so I was brought up, and as soon as I was told that, I felt better about what I was doing, because I love to genuinely help people. And that's how I've done it for the past 30 years. I love to see somebody succeed. When somebody brings me an idea or brings me a product, I love to dissect it and look into, what would happen if this or if that would happen. I mean, I really believe in. It goes back to that dream that we talked about earlier. I mean, just imagine for a moment, what would our life and our world be like today if everybody who had a dream stopped at that level, never took it beyond the dream? Our life, our world would be much different. You can't stop. And in order to continue, you need to have help of others. You can't do this by yourself. None of us can do this by ourselves. And so my whole career has been really dedicated to helping others. And that's why that passion comes out. And you're right, and I appreciate you recognizing that. And it is real, because it is, you can't fake something like this. I mean, I have a passion to help people, and I love to see people succeed, and you have to let that passion come out. So take that passion that you have for your particular idea or your product or the service you offer or whatever it is, and don't hide that passion. Let that passion come through, because that's what's going to propel you to take it to the next level.